Hello, everyone, and welcome. We are at MTAC Score, the long-delayed and much-anticipated MTAC Score. And I am here with a much-anticipated guest, Kari Wahlgren. Kari, thank you so much for taking the time.
Oh my gosh, it's so nice to be here. Just 2 years late.
yeah, just a smidge late.
Just a tiny bit late.
I don't know what happened. I mean, it wasn't like there was anything going on.
It really does feel like I went to my first convention last month that was rescheduled from 2020.
Yeah.
And it felt like I had stepped into some sort of time portal and then just come out 2 years later, because it was just this weird sense of I was supposed to be here 2 years ago.
Yeah.
So it's so trippy to be here.
Yeah.
Just 2 years late.
But I'm glad you made it.
Yeah, me too.
So, just to start things off, tell us a little bit about some of the things you've been working on lately that, of course, you're able to talk about.
Oh, man. There are so many things that I'm working on right now that I can't talk about, but there is one thing that just got released last week that I was very excited about, and that was I got to play Baby Scrat in the new Ice Age shorts that came out on Disney+.
Oh, okay.
So the last thing from Blue Sky Studios, they had done 6 original shorts with Scrat, and they were introducing Baby Scrat. So now Scrat is fighting for that nut with a little tiny baby version of himself. And they were so fun to record and so top secret. So it just got released last week, and so I can finally talk about that. So yay.
No, that's a big deal. Congratulations.
Thank you. It was a joy, and much like everything else, we recorded it remotely from home during the lockdown, and it was so secretive that I've got a whole studio, but they delivered a whole new microphone, laptop computer, interface, everything, and they dropped it off, and I would record, and they would immediately take it away. They're like, we can't even have this connected to your computer in any way. Or we'll have to, kill you.
Yeah.
So,
I was gonna make that joke when you started, like, they came to your house and held you at gunpoint, but it's like, that's not too far off.
It was very Men in Black. It was very, people in suits showed up and dropped off a briefcase, and then
yeah, they hit you with the neuralizer on their way out, and you're like, where did the last 5 hours go? What happened?
Exactly. It was just a blur. Anyway, but that's the one thing that I can talk about now. But there's a few other exciting things that I'm working on right now, but I can't quite talk about those yet. So.
Well, that's fantastic. That's a great story. Thank you for sharing that. The way I usually like to start this out is just by asking a simple question. What made you take an interest in acting?
Oh, man. Well, acting and voice acting are kind of two different things.
Sure.
So I can say with voice acting, I just loved cartoons as a kid. I was so obsessed with Disney movies and things like that, and it's so sweet. My parents are here from Kansas this weekend so that we can hang out together. You want to shout hi, Dad?
Hello.
That's my dad. I don't know if you guys could hear it.
I have all the answers.
He's got all the dirt, you guys, on me. All the childhood dirt.
Yeah, just hang around after the recording, and we'll get all that.
But my parents do like to joke, or I don't know that it's a joke, but apparently I was saying from a very young age that I wanted to be a voice of a Disney character, and so years later, that was just something that I was always pursuing, and I was recording my voice on cassette tapes, and it was just always on my radar that people did the voices of these cartoons that I loved. So, and along with that, I just loved to sing in public, and I loved to do theater and this sort of thing. So just the acting and the voice acting really went hand in hand for me.
I always find that to be so hugely relatable when folks say, well, I really liked this stuff as a kid. I took an interest in, because, I can definitely remember, like, embarrassingly, recording myself on tape. As a kid, just, doing, like, shows and all this other crazy stuff. Just, drawing myself into comic books. Just all kinds of cringy childhood stuff that's like...
That's how it starts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It comes from a place of passion and being a fan and just things that we love and things that make us happy.
Yeah, absolutely. And it takes a lot of determination and work to get to where you're at, and I think you should be very, very proud of that.
Thanks. Knock on wood, they haven't kicked me out of town yet, so.
Well, maybe something in this interview will come out, and that'll just be the end of it.
Then they'll kick me out of town.
Yeah. I'm telling you, I'm gonna hit you with some gotcha journalism somewhere down the line here.
I love it.
Yeah.
The hard-hitting question.
Yeah,
I can feel it.
I'm real tough on the guests. I don't know if you can tell. Now, Dad may have to plug his ears, because I'm going to ask you a question. Who has had the biggest impact on your career? And this can be like another actor person, But, Dad's right there, so I don't want to put too much pressure on you.
Man, I'm not saying this just because he's in the room, but actually my dad did have a huge influence on me. I grew up in a really tiny town in Kansas, and there wasn't a lot of theater, and there weren't a lot of opportunities, and so he actually drove me out of town a lot of hours to bigger towns that did have theater and voice lessons and things. So he was actually really huge.
Kudos to you.
Yeah. He paid me to say that. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, my dad was a big influence. And
it's huge to be able to have that kind of support. Yeah. It really is.
It is.
And I'm so glad you're able to have that, because look where we're at now.
I know. It's pretty crazy. I don't know that he would have thought that we would be here today. So it's kind of lovely. I'm trying not to get emotional about it, but yeah, he's pretty great, you guys.
So what is the biggest challenge for you as an actor?
The biggest challenge for me as an actor is separating what is popular and outside opinions on your work and what you're doing as an artist personally, because you can't ever control what the response is going to be to something that you do. Sometimes you work on a project and in the back of your mind you think, yeah, this is going to be huge, and it bombs. Or sometimes you just do a project and you don't even really think about how it's going to be perceived, and years later you're signing something at a convention. So separating any sort of expectation about the outcome of something creative from just you showing up as an actor, creating the character and doing the best job that you can do. I would say that's kind of the biggest challenge.
Kind of along those lines, acting is such a competitive field in a lot of ways. I was having this conversation with Xanthi yesterday about how, like, if you book, 3% of all the stuff you audition for, like, you're doing a great job.
You're incredibly successful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's wild, because, what else on earth can you think of? If I have a 3% success rate, I'm doing great.
Yeah.
And that's so hard, because that means the other 97% of your time is rejection.
Yes.
How do you stay motivated through all that?
It's so interesting. Caitlin and I were having breakfast this morning, and we were kind of talking about this very thing. And for one thing, we both agree that you don't have to do. Okay, I'm trying to think of how to phrase this. A lot of people have a passion for acting, or a lot of people have a passion for sewing, or whatever it is. And you don't always have to do that thing for a living. Like, you don't have to do that thing to pay your bills. You can just do it because you love it. For people that actually pursue acting as a living, it's very hard. And you have to be prepared to juggle a lot of mental things, rejection and self-doubt and all of this stuff that you really have to want to do it and more than anything else in the world because it's so hard. If you want to be creative and be an actor, you don't have to do it as your job. You can just do it because you love it and do community theater, just paint at your house or draw, But if you do pursue it for a living, my big advice is really to have a life outside of acting. Have friends that love you, whether or not you book a job or not. Have things that you do that give you joy, because there are going to be really, really tough times as you're pursuing it, and you have to have a life that makes you happy, even when things aren't going so well in your acting career.
Right. And I'm curious, just because that can take up so much of your time, what are some of your interests outside of acting?
What do I like to do outside of acting? I love hair bands. I love Slaughter, which, for those of you that do not know, was a really big glam metal band in the late 80s and early 90s. I love Winger. I just love hair band music so much. And so I really enjoy listening to that music, and I have kind of put together this female tribute band, and we do Slaughter songs in all different genres of music. So I find myself doing creative things like that just sort of make me happy. They don't really factor in too much to the voice acting career, but I just love it. And I love to read. I'm such a book nerd, and I love museums. So yeah, those are some other things I like to do when I'm not voice acting.
What a magnificent response. Hair metal is not what I was expecting, but just a magnificent 10 out of 10 response.
Listen, you guys, anybody who's listening to this that does not know late 80s, early 90s glam metal, it's the happiest, most over-the-top, dramatic, wonderful music, and I highly encourage you to look it up because you'll love it.
Okay, but I have to ask now, is there a place where we can see some of your performances?
Well, so this tribute band to Slaughter, which is called Slot Her,
Perfect.
is actually, I put together an album during COVID. And so we do Slaughter songs in all different genres of music, everything from rock to a cappella gospel choir. And it's out everywhere. So if you're on Spotify, if you're on Apple Music, if you're on iTunes or Amazon Music, it's called Kari Wahlgren Presents Slot Her, Volume 1. And so yeah, the music is out there. We were doing live shows before the shutdown in Los Angeles, and I'm hoping we can start doing those again. But in the meantime, if you're intrigued, you can check it out.
Okay, so I'm going to have to talk to some of the folks that run the con here, because I feel like we need to get you as both, voice actor, superstar Kari Wahlgren, plus Slot Her.
Well, here's the thing that's so great is that the other major singers in the live show are Mary Elizabeth McGlynn, who was in Cowboy Bebop, Critical Role,
tons of stuff.
Tons of voiceover stuff. And then Sarah Cravens, who did voice acting for Injustice 2 and One Punch Man and things like that. So the three of us are actually the main singers of this. And it was kind of our dream before the shutdown to go and do a convention concert, but it didn't happen. So we would actually do it in the future. We'll see what happens.
Yeah. If you're looking for a new agent to pursue this, I have zero experience, none. It would be absolutely catastrophic, but I'd love to do it.
But I love the enthusiasm.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
You miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Amen to that.
All right, before I let you go, if folks want to follow along with what you're doing, what's the best way for them to do that?
Great question. I am on social media, and it's at Kari Wahlgren pretty much Twitter, Instagram, Facebook official. I'm trying to remember on TikTok. I think I'm the real Kari Wahlgren or something like that. But I'm on all of those under Kari Wahlgren. So I love hearing from the fans on social. I love seeing your pictures. I'm always telling people with great cosplay costumes, please tag me in your photo. And it would be great to hear from you guys.
Your dad just slid over here and showed me a picture of you doing a concert. It's magnificent.
This is so great. My dad, the proud papa. So.
just so great. Well, Kari, it has been an absolute delight. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks for listening to yet another production of the AwesomeCast, your podcast for everything awesome. You can find us online at awesomecast.com, OSMCAST.com, or, wherever you find your podcast, just search for AwesomeCast. You can also find us on the social medias, AwesomeCast at Twitter or on Facebook. Of course, you can also find our wonderful interview guru, the greatest living interviewer, John Robbins, at J5 is Live. Or perhaps you'd like to follow our amazing editor, Anna, at Angel Darkfire. Or just me, at It's Basil Time on Twitter. Our theme song is produced by DJ Inabito, and you can find him online at djinabito.com. And once again, thanks for listening to the AwesomeCast. We appreciate you.
You can hear the crickets.
Or the aliens landing. It's got a slight, death ray.
Yeah. Phasers are set to stun or to kill or whatever.
That's right. In the year 1963, the slow attacks and the schmuck schnores were at war.
We're keeping all of that. Yeah, that's all staying.